Dad, I need to tell you something." Her voice was so soft I almost missed it. She held my hand the same way she always did when she thought her mother wasn't looking, gentle, hesitant. I froze mid-bite. The fork slipped from my fingers, clattering against the plate, a sound that echoed in the still, strained quiet that had become normal in our home. She hadn't even finished speaking, but I'd already reached for my phone. I called the police, because deep down I already knew things weren't always this way. When I first met Elise, she seemed like peace itself, poised, composed, with that kind of calm that makes you believe nothing could ever go wrong. Her daughter, Ivy, was 5, quiet, inquisitive, with those deep eyes that always seemed to be studying the world around her. I didn't fall for her because I had to. I loved her completely because I chose to. They moved in 6 months after we married. That's when I first noticed a difference. Ivy's plate would stay full at dinner. I'd ask if she wasn't hungry. She'd shake her head and whisper, "Sorry, Dad." Elise would brush it off. "She's just adjusting." But she never adjusted. The therapist in me, rational, trained, hopeful, wanted to believe it was just part of the transition. New home, new family. I tried to be patient, but there were cracks I couldn't ignore. Ivy didn't seem afraid of me. She was just closed off, guarded. Her laughter came with caution. If I made her laugh, her eyes would flick toward Elise, like she was waiting for approval. On the nights Elise traveled, Ivy would cling to me, sleep soundly, and actually eat. She became this vibrant, joyful little girl. But the moment Elise came back, the light in her dimmed again. I began to observe quietly. I saw how Ivy flinched when Elise touched her in public. I noticed the bedwetting only happened on the nights Elise tucked her in. Her bruises? Always explained away with vague excuses. One evening, I asked about a dark mark on her shoulder. "My closet door hit me," she mumbled. But she didn't have a closet, just a fabric curtain. That lie settled hard in my chest. That night, I didn't sleep. I listened. I watched. I waited. Elise was out of town again when Ivy sat beside me on the couch, silent, twisting the edge of her sleeve between her fingers. She leaned into me, then whispered, "Dad?" I turned to her. She hesitated. "I don't want to go with Mommy anymore." "Why not?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. I muted the TV. "Ivy." Her voice was almost gone. "She hurts me when you're not here." I didn't push her further. I didn't need to. Her words were raw, spoken like someone who had learned no one would listen. I kissed her on the head and stood up. I called the police first, then a lawyer, a therapist, a friend who worked in law enforcement. I photographed every bruise. I recorded her telling me what she just had. I gathered her medical history from her pediatrician, injuries that had never made sense, all cataloged. I changed the locks, installed cameras. I prepared. 3 nights later, Elise came home. She walked in like nothing was different, kissed me on the cheek. I let her. She smiled at Ivy, who instinctively took a step back. "Elise," I said, "we need to talk." She sighed. "What now?" I slid a folder across the table. Inside were the police reports, the photos, Ivy's statement, the doctor's notes, even a flash drive with footage of Ivy flinching as Elise reached toward her in the hallway. She didn't blink. That was the most disturbing part. How calm she stayed, like she knew this moment was coming. "You're bluffing," she said coldly. Then came the knock at the door. Uniformed officers stepped inside. I looked at her one last time. She finally told me. The court case didn't drag on. The evidence was too much to ignore. Elise tried to claim she was overwhelmed, that she never meant to hurt anyone. But Ivy's voice, clear, scared, and painfully honest, cut through everything. "I don't want to go with Mommy anymore. She hurts me." That sentence broke the room in two. Now Ivy eats with me every night. She talks. She dreams out loud. She giggles. Sometimes she asks if Elise is coming back. I tell her no, not anymore. Sometimes I still hear Elise's voice in my mind. Soothing, deceptive, a mask over poison. But I remind myself, not all monsters growl. Some sing lullabies. I used to wonder how I didn't see it, How I let someone like that into our lives. But monsters know how to hide. And Ivy, she learned how to stay silent just to survive. She doesn't have to anymore. That night, the officer asked me, "Why'd you call the police so fast?" Because when your child finally finds the courage to speak after years of silence, you don't wait. You act. You destroy anything that might hurt them again. And you make sure that door never opens to the monster again.